America gets out and votes for this man, Donald J. Trump. I've got
4 more months.
I have someone else
months.
that also believes in this program, has been a staunch advocate from the very beginning, who's been a real encourager.
Hey, we're live. Anybody out there?
She's got kind of an inside track with the president.
I don't
And
think the chat window's
staunch
open.
she loves people as well and understands. Who's been a real encourager. What an awesome opportunity this is to do the right thing for all the right reasons. And I want to ask his senior advisor, Ivanka
Chat's
Trump, to come up and tell you about her
Nobody's
thoughts.
here. Joanna, you're first. Welcome. Oh, Ivanka's going to start.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and
You're both
thank
first.
you all for being here. I love North Carolina. And I promised my sister-in-law I would say that with particular emphasis, because Laura Trump has told me more about this amazing state than I think just about anywhere. I may know more about North Carolina than I do about New York, and I've lived there most of my life. So I love you all. It's great to be here. Kirby, thank you for hosting us at this top-of-the-line facility and showing us what you do and your hundreds of employees, how they feed America. To Baptists on the Mission, and all of the incredible volunteers who join us here today, including Executive Director Richard Brunson. Thank you so much. So Richard and I, and many of you volunteers, have actually met one time before in the wake of Hurricane
Facebook
Florence.
is working too.
I
Okay,
came
so
here to North Carolina, and I got
hate
to see
to interrupt
firsthand
Ivanka
the
because she has so many important
unbelievable
things to
work
say.
being done
Creating
to take
15
care
million
of
jobs and
people
all.
in a time of need,
Hey, Todd,
which
how
is
you
not dissimilar to what this program was designed and intends to do and has
Todd, can
been
I reveal
doing.
where
The
you,
president
you
mentioned
have
the
a place of
enormous
employment?
success.
'Cause I have questions.
70 million
If not,
boxes
I'll text you
of
later.
fresh produce, milk, dairy delivered from our local family farms to those who are vulnerable across the country.
Isn't it nice?
While at the exact same time saving countless jobs in terms of the distribution network, the distributors.
Check out my leg
like
warmers.
this great facility that was having to lay people off because the supply chain was severed. So this is
she loud enough?
truly
Do I need to
a
pump the volume up?
win-win
Pump
program.
up
And
the
in
volume,
government,
pump up the volume,
you
pump
can't
up
say
the
that
volume.
about a lot of government programs, especially one of this scale that was mobilized so quickly. So just an enormous success. I was recently in Pittsburgh.
I've been playing tennis with a headband, so I actually do have somewhat of a tan
talking
line
with a gentleman at the Church of God in Christ, and he's a distributor.
Can't
His
really
name was
see it.
Zach, and he was sharing with me the fact that to his business, this program was a miracle, because as I said, it works for everyone. He had saved his whole payroll.
Todd, can I reveal where you work? Because I have a couple questions about that. And if not, no problem. I can just text you
Incorporating
later.
American farmers and ranchers, empowering our
think
workforce,
other
and
people would be
serving
interested in
families
my
in need
questions.
is
'Cause I'm a
about
narcissist.
as good as it gets.
Hey, Andy.
This
hey, Barb.
is a historic investment. USDA has never done
Larry, I
anything
might
like
run that
this.
video
So
while,
this is a brand new program, and
Ivanka's
with this
speaking. Let me, take a
$1
look at it
billion addition, we're going to keep it going.
Don't think I
and
can
we're going
pause
to
it
keep
'cause we're
feeding
watching the span.
those in need until this pandemic passes. And one of the
we can't
amazing
pause.
things, and there are a lot of faith-based organizations
Rich.
who are involved
Hey,
in
Alex.
this program and in the distribution, and I visited one in
She's loud
Washington,
enough?
D.C.
Okay.
The number of people who came up to me, parents who were collecting these boxes for their children,
Yeah.
and they had tears in their eyes because not only did they know that their children and their family would eat that night and that week, but amazingly, they were telling me stories about how they'd never experienced the produce that was being given to them in these boxes. They'd never had anything this fresh before and this nutritious before. So the double benefit of being able to feed their families with the amazing product that you all grow on your farms.
There are bigger issues there.
It was-
here, and I think
it was
Michelle Obama
extraordinary.
was talking about that
It was
for
extraordinary.
8 years.
There was a Virginia farmer who, when we first launched this program just weeks ago, was at the White House and said to you, Mr. President,
They did the.
and I quote,
no, I
this
haven't
country
gotten a new,
relies
bell
on these
yet,
farmers
guys.
and ranchers
but I want to get
to
one
do
of those,
every day, to
was it?
do
Someone
what they
sent
do
me-
every
Marcy,
day.
I think,
So I want to
sent me-
personally thank
she's
you,
asleep.
Mr.
It's like
President,
3
and
hours
all of
earlier
you who have worked so hard to make
Hawaii.
sure these farm
So
families
it's,
stay whole,
10 o'clock in the morning or something,
and that
so
the
she's
American
fast asleep.
people
She's
never
sleeping it
have to
off.
worry about running out of food. That's what this program does. Thank you all.
But, no, Trump already
And
spoke
now
at the
for
RNC.
our final
The
speaker,
RNC
I'd like to
spoke
turn
for
it
about an
over to
hour, so
Richard
we might
Brunson,
cover
the
that,
Executive Director
'cause he
of
did say
Baptists
some
on
doozies.
Mission, who will thank his volunteers. And I'd like to also give a
Am I too
shout out
loud or
to
too soft
Chief
as well?
Sneed
Hold on.
of the Eastern Band of Cherokees, who's here.
I can pump
Hi,
myself
Chief.
up.
Thank you for being
Here we
here.
go. That's as loud
Thank
as I
you
can
for all
go.
that you do as
I don't know
well.
what's going on with the output audio here. It's always something.
Thank you, Ivanka.
Is she way louder
And
than me? Hold on.
Chief, thank you for being here. The Eastern Band of the Cherokee are
looking
also
at the
get
levels.
about 900 boxes every week.
About
through the
900
Farmers to Families
boxes
Food
of-
Box
yeah.
program, as well as people
Okay, well, I
all
can fix
over.
that. There we go. We're going to silence her for a second. Let me, Cousin Larry sent me a video here. Let me pull it over and see what it's all about. I have not watched this yet, so let's watch Cousin Larry's video together. Can you guys see that? Hold on. Let me check. I've got you guys back up. Okay, this is Liz Plank. Let's see if we can hear her. We cannot. Let me unmute her. Here we go. This is Liz Plank.
Hi, I'm Liz Plank, and as
Hi.
a Canadian and as a woman, I consider myself
me
a
too.
foremost expert when it comes to apologizing. And I was just
Sorry.
thinking that there's one particular person that we could all use an apology from right now, and since he hasn't done it, I thought I would say it for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm announcing I'm sorry for the way I handled the whole coronavirus pandemic right now. I'm doing a very, very terrible job. Thousands of people are dying and dying. Violently dying. It's kind of my fault. Can you believe the fake news is still showing my briefings in these briefings? Well, I think I've been incredibly racist toward the Asian Americans. We have to protect our Asian Americans. For me, I suggested medical treatments like hydroxychloroquine and a disinfectant, even though I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. Please listen to Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx. Again, I'm not a doctor. I have blamed a lot of people, and I'm not just blaming President Obama. I blame the governors, the World Health Organization, and China for my big failure. That was a tremendous failure with regard to the virus. I can say very honestly, I'm just a third-rate president. I will tell you, tremendous danger to our country. But don't worry about it. In a few months, you can vote. One day, my presidency will go away. You know it is going away. I said this virus will go away fast, and it hasn't. So please thank our healthcare workers. And remember this, ultraviolet or just very powerful light is not a cure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was awesome. Thanks to Cousin Larry for sharing that. Let me get rid of that. Let me go back. K Farmer Guy is still speaking here. So yeah, President Trump spoke at the RNC, showed up there and spoke. It was very, very positive. But that was a great video. So thanks to, let's see, that's from the recount.
Hi,
Her
I'm
name
Liz Plank, and
is Liz Plank, and she's a Canadian and a woman, just like me. So good to see that. Let's go back to here. We'll cover Trump at the RNC. I don't know if he's going to do a lot of speaking in this thing, so let's. I'm going to pull this thing over to the side. This is C-SPAN Live, so I can't do anything with it. I just have to let it play. And okay, now it paused. I'm a liar. Here's something. Oh, that's Fox. Let's go to. We can go to, let's watch the Fox feed from earlier so the volume's good. Let's see, what was that on? I think it was on Outnumbered. I kind of listened to it as I was driving Kevinly daughter back and forth to work. I think it was Outnumbered this morning that he got started. Let's take a look. Couple of good tidbits.
You know, I don't have to tell you here at the Republican.
Yeah, there's Trump, or Mike Platitudes came out. Okay, wow. Still going, still going, still going, still going. Hold on. Here he comes. And I can't play that part because it's going to be God Bless the USA. Let's listen. Here is the President of the United States. He's been officially nominated by his party as the candidate. So he's in some sort of convention hall thing in North Carolina where they were supposed to have the big RNC. 4 more months. 4 more months. 4 more months. 4 more months.
Now, if you want to really drive him crazy, you say 12 more years.
12 more days. 12 more days. That's what presidents do. Is try and drive Americans crazy. Ha ha! Take that, America!
We caught them doing some really bad things in 2016. Let's see what happens. We caught them doing some really bad things. We have to be very careful because they're trying it again with this whole...
Yeah, Cousin Larry, I tried to go back into Canada, but even with my Canadian citizenship, they're like, no, sir, you can't bring those guns in here.
80 million mail-in ballots that they're working on.
He said 51 million this morning.
Sending them out to people that didn't ask for them. They didn't ask.
It's going to get higher every time.
They just get them.
Yeah.
And it's not fair, and it's not right, and it's not going to be possible to tabulate, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. We have to be very, very careful. And you have to watch. Every one of you have to watch. Because bad things happened last time with the spying on our campaign, and that goes to Biden, and that goes to Obama. And we have to be very, very careful. Have to be very, very careful. And this time that
Ivanka just left the stage. Oh, Trump left too. So, not here. The thing we were just watching with. So he showed up. He spoke for about 2 minutes. We can go back and watch that, but let's go back to this. This is more interesting.
trying to do it with the whole post office scam. They'll blame it on the post office. You could see them setting it up. Be very careful and watch it very carefully, because we have to win. This is the most important election in the history of our country. This is the most, you know, for a long period of time, I would say, well, 2016, how special was that evening?
Melania tapes? Are you Green Room? Are you talking about the Marianne tapes? Marianne Trump, his sister?
Was that one of the great? That was one of the great evenings. But we have to be very, very careful, and we have to win. Our country is counting on it. This is the biggest. This is it. Our country can go in a horrible, horrible direction, or in an even greater direction. And before the plague came in from China, that's where we were going. We were going in a direction like we had never seen. The most successful economy in the history of our country.
Not true.
The best unemployment numbers in history.
No, that's
for African American, Asian American, Hispanic American.
Not his wife, his sister.
Women, college students, bad students, good students, everybody. If you had a diploma, if you didn't have a diploma, it didn't matter. You were doing.
Not quite everybody. Not whites. His base literally didn't have the best employment numbers they've ever had. His base.
Well, everybody was doing well.
Not everybody. We nationally, we didn't have a record for the lowest unemployment. That's just a lie. He keeps saying, he lists all the subgroups that had some of which have, well, all of which hadn't had any records kept before the 1970s or later. But he lists off a bunch of subgroups and then said, everybody. That's not true. It's not everybody. As a whole, thought I just heard a truck beeping.
And we were actually coming together. You know, success brings people together. Maybe better than anything else. Success brings people. So many times they say, we're divided.
We were actually coming together right before the coronavirus. You know, during the impeachment hearings. I've never felt such a unity in this country. No, we're not going to have witnesses in a trial. Really, America, I remember when the Senate linked arms and saying, I want to buy the world some cocaine in honor of Mitch.
Well, we were very divided under President Obama, very divided.
That ended up funnier at the end of the sentence than I started, because
people have no.
I enjoy it. I don't know why you guys are watching, but inside here, I'm having a good time.
No idea how divided. They didn't talk about it as much. They didn't say it as much. But we were really coming together.
We were coming together, but nobody mentioned it. It was a secret coming together. It's like me and Stormy. Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I was speaking with Democrats all of a sudden because the success markets were at an all-time high. And by the way, Take a look at what's happening with the markets. Take a look at your 401ks, which you probably do every hour. Take a look at your stocks. We're very close to breaking the record, and NASDAQ has already done it. You know, NASDAQ has broken the record, I think, 16 times already during a pandemic. Hopefully we'll call it the final phase of a pandemic. You know, Biden the other day said, no, he'd shut it down. He'd listen to some guy say, and he'd shut it down. We just broke a record on jobs, an all-time record. There's never been 3 months where we've put more people to work, over 9 million people. And again, we're just about ready to break the all-time stock market record. I mean, you look at it, we're just about ready to do it again. And what that means is everything else is going to follow. Very smart on Wall Street. Everything else is going to be there. The economy is coming up very rapidly. Our farmers are doing well.
How's the volume, guys?
Our farmers are doing well because I got China to give them $28 billion because they were targeted by China. I got the farmers $28 billion, 16 and 12.
Records farmer suicide,
so in spite of the pandemic, and our farmers did a great job in supplying food and all of the difficulties during this period of time. But
no, these are all RNC delegates. They all have stock.
We're getting ready to do things like nobody's ever seen before. But the best way to bring unity is success. Success brings unity, and we were there, and then we got hit.
Or bringing unity. Emphasizing that, could have tried that, seems like a shortcut.
With the plague, but we won't forget that. I just want to thank the people of North Carolina because, to be honest with you, I felt an obligation to be here. You have a governor who's in a...
No, this is the RNC convention, Larry. This is these are the delegates, the people who are sent there by their states to vote for him so that he can be the candidate, which... It's such a waste of time. Just trying to gin up support. I mean, that's what it's all about, I guess.
Total shutdown mood. I guarantee on November 4th, it'll all open up. It'll be fine, like most other states.
That's right, Mr.
On
President.
November 4th, you know, these
totally
Democrat governors, they love shutdown until after the election's over because they want to make our numbers look as bad as possible for the economy. But our numbers are looking so good.
Yeah.
And frankly, I used to say a V, and people would say, well, maybe not. I don't think so. Some would say, no way. We have a super V. You're right.
Super
It's
V!
now looking like it's a super V.
Again, Super V, not a thing. There's no such thing as a super. I looked it up. No such.
Our automobile numbers are incredible, both used cars and brand new cars. Our manufacturing numbers incredible. We're putting a lot of manufacturing jobs to work that the previous administration said you'd need a magic wand. You'd need a magic wand for manufacturing jobs. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's not what he said. He said some jobs are now obsolete. People have been replaced by robots. And guess what? Those jobs are not coming back. Remember, it wasn't Honeywell. What was it? He had, right off the bat, a company, when he was first running in 2016, a company said they were going to open the plant back up because he said so. And they made air conditioners. I think they were a GE company. No, they weren't a GE company. Part of a bigger corporation. Oh, God, I can't believe I can't remember that now. Guys, who was it? The air conditioning company. Anyway, they retooled everything and they replaced most of the work with robots. So that's why. Yes, a lot of jobs have moved overseas. I mean, we're a global economy now. It wasn't Honeywell. Well, who knows, Marcy? It might be Honeywell. It's 4 years ago now. That's 1,000 years in Trump time. Wasn't Lennox? Oh, come on, guys. The air conditioners. And they were going to move to Mexico, and Trump said, don't. And they're like, okay. And the 1,200 jobs came back that didn't come back. And then I want to say, Joanna, you're right. I think Westinghouse was the parent company. Somebody knows.
Yes, we had the...
Somebody does know. The odds are good right now. There's a former employee of this company that got laid off, even though Trump visited the factory. So if you're out there, jump into the chat room. By the way, best place to chat, youtube.com/KevinLeeFather.
Magic wand.
Train is an air conditioning company. That is correct. But not the one I'm talking. Carrier. Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Stephanie. It was Carrier. Thank you, 07663214894879. Jenny, you got my number. I need to make you mine.
That's all. But we're putting them again. We're putting them back. We're bringing them back. But think of your life just prior to the plague coming in. It was the best it's ever been. Your state had the best numbers they've ever had.
Ask yourself one question. Are you better off 8 months ago than you were 4 years? What? This is not a good bumper sticker, Trump.
Ever had by far. And we had the best employment numbers also. We were up to 160 million jobs. We were never anywhere near that. And then we had to shut it down. We saved millions and millions of lives. We learned the enemy. We learned all about the invisible enemy. How it
This is how Trump learns things like this.
affects really people that are older, especially older people, the elderly, but older people with problems with heart, with diabetes, with other problems. And we learned, and most of the country is right now doing very, very well. They've done an incredible job. And to have a man sitting on
180,000 now. 180,000 dead. Very incredibly well. Incredibly well, country.
television the other day say, oh, I'd shut it down. Oh, I'd shut it, like it's easy, shut it down. And by the way, when you shut it down, and we did the exact right thing, we shut it down, then we reopened, and that's what we're doing now. We're well into it. But if we didn't shut it down at that point, we would have had millions of people dead. Millions of people. You see the numbers, the job that Mike Pence...
And yet no country has millions of people dead. No country has anything close to what we've got in terms of dead. Every country didn't even shut down. And yet we have the most dead. 25% of the peoples that are dead on the planet, this country. Not sure you're making a case for yourself here, buddy.
And the task force and all of us together have done has been incredible what we've done, what we've achieved. Whether it's ventilators, whether it's supplying equipment to governors that were totally ill-prepared. Many of the governors were totally ill-prepared. Nobody wants to say that, but it's supposed to work that way, Federalist. It's supposed to work that way. The governors are supposed to do it. Many of them, and many of them did a fine job. And many...
It sounds like Michael Scott on The Office. Supposed to work that way, Federalist. He does not mean Federalist. Federalism? Not something that Alexander Hamilton or Madison wrote about in the Federalist Papers.
Supplying equipment to governors that were totally ill-prepared. Many of the governors were totally ill-prepared. Nobody wants to say that, but it's supposed to work that way, Federalist. It's supposed to work that way. The governor...
Federalism. Supposed to work that way, Federalist. Like it's a secret.
Governors are supposed to do it. Many of them, and many of them did a fine job, and many of them came back well. But most of them didn't.
Is this the optimism they were talking about?
Didn't have the equipment that they should have had. Few of them had the ventilators, which are very, very complex machines and hard to make and hard to manufacture and expensive.
Because there was a federal stockpile of almost 17,000 ventilators. Yeah, you've admitted that. Remember, you admitted that.
And we're right now making thousands of ventilators a month, and we're sending them. We have all we can use. Our whole country, every state, we're stocked. We're stocked. And I always say it, I'll say it again. There's never been a person that needed a ventilator that didn't get a ventilator. Every single person that's ever needed a ventilator, with all that you've heard, with how much, they said we didn't have. Again, I took over a country whose military was depleted and whose cupboard on this front were bare. The cupboards were bare.
Nope.
We didn't have anything.
We
didn't have a thing. We had very, very little.
didn't have a thing. Well, hold on, because we have math and we have you talking about it, reading a speech that was written for you that you read and didn't correct, but you bragged about. Let's listen.
In the last administration, since the start of the pandemic, we have tripled the number of N95 masks on hand to over 40 million.
So you tripled the number of N95 to 40 million. So let's bring up the old calculator here. So that's 40 million divided by 3. So there were there were over 13 million N95 masks. Let's keep going.
Triple the number of gowns to over 15 million and
Okay, so we had 5 million gowns.
quadrupled the number of ventilators to 69,000.
Quadrupled the number of ventilators to 69,000. So we had roughly 17,000 ventilators. We needed a total of 11,000. That's how many were sent out from the national stockpile. Side note, yes, he didn't renew the maintenance contracts on the ventilators. So a lot of the ventilators were now out of functioning parameters. And so he actually sent over 1,100 of them to Los Angeles just in case, and California sent them out to get repaired, got them fixed. But the Trump administration let the contract on the ventilators expire. That being said, we had 13 million N95s, 5 million gowns, 17,000 ventilators. Anyway, but really, basically bare cupboards.
And we did a great job. We haven't been given, and it's not for me, it's for the incredible people, the generals, the admirals, all of the doctors, the nurses. And yet you saw yesterday convalescent plasma, you saw remdesivir, you'll soon see vaccines pouring out years ahead of what they would have been under a more traditional, let's use that term because it's nicer, a more traditional administration where they would have taken years to come up with this stuff. We're coming up with it like nobody's ever seen before. The FDA, Dr. Hahn, I want to thank him. Alex Azar, I want to thank him. They've come with things and done things that have never been done in terms of speed and frankly in terms of quality. If you look at what we're doing and what we're coming up with, drug companies are coming out with vaccines that are, I've seen some results already. It's going to be very, very soon. They're in stage 3 trials. It's unheard of. We wouldn't be there.
Crowd big vaccine fans. Stage 3. Yeah, he said stage 3. He's in stage 3. I thought it was stage 2. Can't wait for stage 7. Woo, stage 3.
For 2 years, if this were a more normal
That was someone in the crowd, not me. Woo!
situation. So
Woo!
I just want to thank everybody for being here.
Woo! Those RNC delegates, they get down.
And again, I felt an obligation
What?
to come to
Hold on,
North.
someone yelled something.
It's unheard of. We wouldn't be there for 2 years if this were a more normal situation. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. And again, I felt an obligation to come to North Carolina. It's been a place that that's been very good to me. You know, we won a lot of victories here. I haven't been doing this that long, but I won every
Yeah, we laugh about it too.
chance I had in North Carolina. I even stole a great chief of staff, Mark Meadows, right? I stole him from North Carolina. And he left Congress as a very popular guy. Could have been there for a long time if he wanted, and he came in. And by the way, you have a fantastic young gentleman going to take his place. He's a fantastic young guy, and he's going to be a real star in the party. He's going to be a real star in the party. So
Can't remember his name, but moving on.
I just want to thank everybody from North Carolina, and I do want to show a little bit of a difference because another state that's been very good to me is Wisconsin. And Joe Biden was going to have their convention in Milwaukee, and they didn't go there at all. They didn't do this. We did this out of respect for your state. We didn't do this for any other reason other than...
Dude, you pulled the convention out of North Carolina and moved it to Jacksonville. That's how much you respect North Carolina. Jacksonville got so bad that they're like, we just can't have it here. We're Florida right now. We're at like 18%. At the time, I think it was 28% positivity in this area. You cannot come here. So now they're back in North Carolina. Out of respect, they're in North Carolina. Yes, I left you for the stripper, but she had incurable herpes. So now I'm back with you because I respect you. Also, call your doctor. Come here. Come here, Kevinly Kitty. Come on. I don't know if you guys can hear the cat in the background, but she wants something.
Respect for the state of North Carolina.
Respect.
Because we said we wanted to hold our convention in North Carolina, and I think you're going to remember that, frankly, on November 3rd. We wanted to hold our convention in North Carolina. So I did that out of respect. And if you had a governor that would have let us have some people. He actually told me this. We had an arena that holds 19,000 people. It was totally jammed, sold out. Every hotel was full, everything. And I called him. He said, but we have a shutdown going on. And according to the rules and regulations, now this is 19,000. He did say it. I don't think he'll deny it. But he said, according to the rules and regulations, the most people you're allowed to have in that room, meaning that arena, he viewed it as a room, is 10 people. I say, so Governor, so I'm at 19,000, you're at 10. Can we work something in the middle? And it didn't sound too good. So we really...
Ha 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 ha, laughs the room full of people in North Carolina. But good story, though. It's a good story.
I had no choice. It was a terrible thing, but I felt...
So then you moved the convention away. Is this where this story is going? But then you respect North Carolina so much you came back?
So badly because you could have, economic development money, all of the things that happened. But we decided, I was with Ronna, the vice president, everybody, Mark, and we said, let's have our big deal, the roll call. Let's have it right here. And let's do it, and I'm going to show up, and I'm not going to tell anybody. Until a few minutes ago, nobody knew I was coming. Right? Nobody knew I was coming. So...
Yes, I've moved in with the other woman, but I do want to keep my motorcycle in your garage. So, that's really because I love you.
But what's more important than the roll call? You're the ones calling it, so what's more important?
President, love you.
So, and I have to tell you, we're going to do a lot of things. I'm just going to go over very briefly because we're going to make a speech on Thursday night. I hope you're all going to be listening.
Yeah!
Because I came in and I'm on Air Force One, and Air Force One has more televisions than any plane in history.
Okay.
They've got them in closets. They've got them on ceilings, floors. They've got more.
I open the closet and Mike Pence is in there, and I'm like, Mike, what are you doing in the closet? He's like, I'm watching TV, sir. Tracks. So it's just him, Mike Pence, and the purser are in the closet, and I guess it gets hot in there because most of their clothing is off. But they're watching, they said, there's a TV up here on the ceiling, sir. And I said, can I get in there and take a look at that TV on the ceiling? What are they showing? Oh, no, sir. It's really crowded in here already. We're pressed up against each other with hardly any cloth. So anyway, they have it in the closet. They got it on the ceiling. So many TVs.
You can't escape a television. And I turned to CNN and they didn't have this. They weren't having it. Can you believe it? They didn't have it. No, CNN didn't have our roll call. Then I turned to MSDNC, as I call it. MSDNC, which is truly, it is a branch of the Democrats.
Yeah.
Right? It's I wouldn't say fully owned corporation, but it's certainly a fully controlled, or they control them. Nobody really knows who's controlling who. But
nobody really knows, but you're going to go ahead and make that accusation.
They had it on television.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and it was interesting. You see the different states, and we say this and we say that. The great state of Alaska, the great state of Alabama, the great state of North Carolina, the great state of all of them. It's very interesting to me. They had theirs on, but they didn't show it. Instead, they're showing the scam because they're trying to show the post office so that when their whole mail-in thing fizzles, they'll try blaming it on the post office. Okay, so they're showing these hearings that are very boring, actually. And they're not showing this either. They weren't showing this.
No, thank God I have you, Chris, and the rest of you guys. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting here watching this by myself. Earlier today, I was editing audio on whether somebody in the crowd yelled Spygate or monkey. So that's what I would be doing. Actually, I've got a lot of other stuff I should be doing.
And Fox had it on, but unfortunately Fox wasn't showing it too much because they had the announcers talking.
Yeah.
I said, I want to hear what they're saying. The delegates, I want to hear what they're saying. So I think we had to switch over to C-SPAN or to OAN or somebody. But I wanted to hear them.
Woo!
But I can promise you a few things. Number one, we will not be taking the word God.
I did not watch the DeJoy hearing, but Aaron Rupar did. So you can go to Aaron Rupar on Twitter, and he's got the highlights there. They didn't yell monkey. They yelled Spygate.
Out of the Pledge of Allegiance, okay? Like they did a number of times at their caucuses, so they took the word God out. I heard it. I was listening.
There was one guy who didn't say in God in the Pledge of Allegiance, and it wasn't televised. It was one of their caucuses around the DNC, but didn't make it to the actual televised DNC. And I'm not sure it appeared on air anywhere. Could be. Anyway, he's saying that the Democrats, he said that the Democratic National Convention let out the words in God. But all 4 nights during the Pledge of Allegiance, they did say it. I have it if anybody wants to see it.
I said, that's strange, sort of weird. You've heard it all your life, right? Under God, under God. All of a sudden, those 2 words are missing. I said, oh, he must have made a mistake.
I'm not sure he did. I don't think he was reading from anything. He was looking at the camera when he said it, and he's Muslim, and he didn't mention God in the Pledge of Allegiance because there are those in the Muslim community who believe that God should only be mentioned during prayer time. I'm not Islamic, so I could be dead wrong on all of this, but they have very strict laws in the religion against when you mention, you can't picture Muhammad. There's a number of different things like that. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a much bigger white supremacist controversy about all of this, but the fact of the matter is, yes, at the DNC convention, they said the Pledge of Allegiance on the air 4 times, and all 4 times, here I have it. Let me pull it up. Here we go. This is all 4 nights of the DNC.
One nation, under God.
One nation, one nation.
One nation, under God. One nation,
one nation.
one nation,
Under God.
One nation, under God. Shut the fuck up!
Oh, too late. That's me. It says Heavenly Father at the end there. It says, watch. It says me. Watch. Okay. Ready? This Heavenly Fat. What the hell? I know. I got to rethink this branding, kitty. Are you coming up here? Do you want to see the peoples? No? Do you want to grab that broken bike bell off the floor and give it to me, kitty? Give me the bike bell. Give me the bike bell. No? Okay. Where were we? Let's go back to Trump. Hold on. Okay.
He must have, maybe the teleprompter wasn't working or his book wasn't working that I have right here. Something wasn't working. Must have.
His book wasn't working, says the man who's never apparently opened and used a book. I'm so sorry, the book isn't working. I can't. It wasn't me. It's not working. Oh, I open it? Look, there's a bunch of pictures. Whoop, boop, boop.
But the problem was then the next day I heard it again. I said, that's not a mistake. That's pretty. And then they immediately went into a mode. No, we didn't mean that. No. We didn't say it for the convention. We didn't say it. No, that's where they're coming from. That's where they're coming from. You can say it or not say it.
Yeah, you said they didn't say it in the convention. And now they're saying, yes, we said it in the convention, which I just showed. So, yes, that is where they're coming from. You accused them of not saying it during the convention, and they said it during the convention. So, Marcy says she DM'd me something, or let's see here. Okay, here's something from Maurice. Do I have something from you, Marcy? You shared a tweet. Here's the roll call. Is it the whole thing? Do we have to watch the whole thing? Or is this just the highlights? Okay. Oh, these are tweets. No, I want video, Marcy. Video. I can't read. The book is broken, Marcy. Back to Trump.
That is where they're coming from. Just like with energy, they don't want energy. Not working well in Texas, by the way. I just looked at a poll. And by the way,
Biden is up by 1 in Texas. Just looked at a poll.
Just came out that
You're funny, Marcy.
We have received 51% in the big and very important Rasmussen poll, and my numbers actually went up during the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah, but in the Rasmussen poll, Biden is beating you in the presidential race 48 to 44. So that is the very important Rasmussen poll. Very important.
51%. So think of it. Think of it.
4 months. 4 more months. 4 more months. 4 more beers.
I love this state. I like this place. You're from all over the place, but this has been a good one for me. No, but think of it. So we're at 51% in Rasmussen. Do you read about it? Do you hear about it? You don't hear about it. They give you
more like 51% in Asmussen. Right here.
These suppression polls where they do registered voters instead of most likely. It's supposed to be likely. In other words, how about you? You're likely to vote. But how about you? You're registered, but I'm not voting. But see, under their plan, where they send these ballots, you don't have to want to vote. You get the ballot, and then they have harvesting. They get guys to go, do you want to
This is about Thanksgiving.
vote? No, not really, but I have a ballot. All right, good. Who's it for? Sleepy Joe Biden. I'll put it here, son.
Is that what he is on the ballot? Sleepy Joe? Later, part of the monkey controversy, somebody yells Sleepy Joe, and he says, no, let's be nice, Biden. Uh-oh, did I just... God damn it, Kevin. Hold on. Speaking of monkeys, look at this face.
I can promise you a few things. No,
hold on.
Going to have their convention. We would have had millions of people.
I'm trying to find
what's more important than the roll call? You're the ones calling it. So what's more important?
President, love you.
So very boring, actually. And they're not showing this either. They weren't showing this. And Fox had it on, but unfortunately Fox wasn't showing a place, but this has been a good one for me. No, but think of it. So we're at 51% in Rasmussen. Do you read about it? Do you hear about it? You don't hear about it. They give you these suppression polls where they do registered voters instead of most likely. It's supposed to be likely. In other words, how about you? You're likely to vote. But how about you? You're registered, but I'm not voting. But see, under their plan, where they send these ballots, you don't have to want to vote. You get the ballot, and then they have harvesting. They get guys to go, do you want to vote? No, not really, but I have a ballot. All right, good. Who's it for? Sleepy Joe Biden. I'll put it here, son. Okay, can I have it? And they'll take it. In fact, harvesting is illegal in your state. They wanted to put a Republican, fine man, a pastor, they wanted to put him in jail because he harvested. Now they want to make harvesting legal all of a sudden. They'll put him in jail as a Republican, right? If he was a Democrat, they wouldn't even be thinking about it. In California, they do the same thing.
He's in a state where the Republicans passed a no harvesting bill. You know, surgical racism.
No repercussion. In North Carolina, you had a fine pastor, a fine man, and they got him on harvesting. They wanted to put him in jail. And now they want to make it all so that everybody can harvest. because they know it's not a good thing. So people that don't want to vote are going to be sitting there. They'll be making them, if you talk about 80 million ballots, it's 80 million, could even be higher than that. I used to say 51 million, now it's 80 million. They said, sure, you're a little obsolete with the...
You used to say 51 million. This morning in a tweet, you said 51 million.
51. I said, all right, what is it? 80. I said, 80? How is it possible to think of it? They'll be sending them, they'll be dumping them in neighborhoods, there'll be, people are going to be...
You know, mailboxes. Oh, and the dartboards.
Picking them up, they'll be bribing, they'll be paying off people.
They'll be picking them up out of your mailbox and then bribing people.
To grab some.
All of that is illegal already. Also, people have been known to bribe people to get them in line to vote. Republican or Democrat, or hell, Whig Party. This has been going on forever. I heard of one time that someone gave everyone like $1,200 and said, if you vote for me, I'll forgive that loan. But if you don't vote for me, you're going to owe that $1,200 back. So I'll give you, I'm just giving you it's a $1,200 loan. And if you vote for me and I win, you get to keep that money. That was Trump with the payroll tax.
This is going to be one of the greatest scams, and it's common sense. This has nothing to do with politics. It's common sense. Anybody, you don't have to know politics.
This is not common sense.
Politics.
This is not, I mean, it might be common sense because we live in a country where Trump got elected. So this might be American common sense.
They're going to mail out 80 million ballots.
Yes. You know, democracy.
It's impossible. They have no idea.
It is possible. Every day, the U.S. Postal Service handles, it's got to be at least 20, 30 letters. Got to be. More than that. I'm being conservative.
Mailing them. Mostly Democrat states and Democrat governors. Well, supposing they don't mail them.
It's Democratic governors.
To Republican neighborhoods. That means they're not going to get them. So they're going to complain, and the election's going to be over, and then they're going to complain, and then they'll say, oh, well, we didn't get it. Big deal. In the meantime, you might lose the election. This is the greatest scam in the history of politics, I think, and I'm talking about beyond our nation. And they...
Wait a second. I thought Obamagate was the greatest scam.
They act like they're aggrieved. Like by saying this, we're saying such a horrible thing. We're not patriotic by saying this. No, we voted during World War I.
Yes.
We voted at the voting booth during World War II.
You did.
The pandemic, we're doing very well, and people know how to handle it. Look at the crowds. They're doing very well.
So Marcy's saying she's been practicing her dad's signature. Smart.
It's very safe. It's going to be very safe. If you have an absentee ballot where you request it, we're all in favor of that.
Yeah.
Absentee, like in Florida, they have absentee is good. But other than
this is how you request your absentee ballot.
That, they're very, very bad. There'll be millions of ballots. Take a look at New York. Take a look at Virginia. Take a look at New Jersey. All different cases. They just had one last night. Now they're thinking about recalling certain elections that took place with mail-in. And these are small little elections that are locally based, that are easy to run. Not millions, but thousands of ballots. Thousands.
Steve, how are the Dems trying to rig the election? Like universal mail-in voting? Is that what you're saying?
Hundreds of ballots. But these are small, and they can't control it. They said 23% of the ballots were defective.
No, they weren't defective. Someone tried to defraud the system, and they got caught. He's talking about Paterson, New Jersey. It was 19%, but let's just say 23%. They got caught because mail-in ballots are incredibly secure.
What does defective mean? It means fraud. It means a lot of things that we won't get into because I don't want to...
Because you can't name anything else.
...be accused. You see all the cameras back there? It's the fake news. I don't want to be accused of anything.
Democrats just tell voters what they want to hear. They give them policies that the voters prefer and then make them want to vote for them. That's rigged. You're absolutely right, David Mickelson. Fact check. Snoops.com,
what
everybody.
it means is They're trying to steal the election from the Republicans. That's what it means. In a very, very nice way, I will tell you, they are trying to steal the election, just like they did it last time with spying, and we caught them, and that included President Obama, and that included, let's be nice, Biden.
Okay, here's what happens here. People say that the guy that shouted there, the first guy that shouted, that he shouted monkey. Listen, let's listen for monkey. Okay, I'm gonna. I don't know if I can pump the volume up any more than I can right here. Okay, so you might want to turn your volumes up a little bit and listen for the word monkey. So hold on.
And we caught them, and that included President Obama, and that included, let's be nice, Biden.
Okay, so people are saying there that the second guy, and that included monkey, and then Trump says, let's be nice, Biden. But here's what actually happens. Now listen for the word Spygate.
Last time with spying, and we caught them, and that included President Obama, and that included,
Spygate! The next guy, and the volume's too, I can hear it here, but I'm sure you guys can't.
Included
Sleepy Joe. The guy yells, it kind of says, Sleepy Joe, right there. And President Trump's response to that is,
let's be nice, Biden.
Let's be nice, Biden, is what he says. He said Spygate. He didn't say monkey. Let's see, what did David say? He said Spygate, yeah. As a matter of fact, because I care, this is what I did. Let me pull it up for you guys. Here's what I did. I used my audio booth, and I actually shouted Spygate, and I shouted monkey, and I put me shouting them, followed by the person actually shouting in the room, and I got rid of as much as the audio buzz as I could to try and make it as clean as possible. You will hear just the tail end of the word included, because that Trump is saying that, and the guy yells it over him. So you'll hear the two, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it quite clearly. Again, the first thing I shout is Spygate. The second thing I shout is monkey. Spygate! Spygate! Monkey! Spygate! Let's do it again here. So I shout Spygate. You hear Spygate, Spygate, monkey, Spygate. When you hear monkey and Spygate together, I'm the one yelling monkey. You'll hear a very clear difference between Spygate and monkey. And the second voice that you hear when I say Spygate, Spygate, the second voice is the actual audio from the clip that we're watching. Spygate! Spygate! Monkey! Spygate! So when you hear monkey and Spygate together, that second time, it's a very clear difference between the two. And you can see the waveforms. I don't know if you can tell on your screen there. The waveform, unfortunately, it's corrupted because you also have the end of what Trump is saying. But it's much closer to Spygate than it is to monkey. The waveforms are those things going up and down, the blue things there. Spygate! Spygate! Monkey! Spygate! Okay, so that's what you're paying for. If you'd like to pay me, send me some money at paypal.me/KevinLeeDad. Venmo at Kevin-Williams-157. Go to KevinLeeFather.com. You can become a patron and support efforts like that make the world a better place. But no, he did not say Spygate. He did not say monkey. He said Spygate, and the room would have reacted very differently had he said monkey. Because you're not supposed to say the racist part out loud unless you're president. Keep in mind, this guy was the guy yelling Kenya for 6 years. So I don't think he's going to change anybody's mind, whether it's monkey or Spygate. Doesn't really matter that much.
This could only happen in North Carolina.
No, Trump heard the second guy. Remember, they're in a room. The microphones are placed differently. They can hear people in the room much, much better than we can because we're getting the feed off of Trump's microphone right there. And we might be getting the feed off the news cameras in the back a little bit. But the bottom line is he can hear things on the stage much better than we can in this situation. The first guy yells, Spygate. Trump repeats what he said because the guy interrupted him. Then there's a pause. Well, Trump is thinking because, okay, I use the word thinking very loosely. There's another guy who yells, Sleepy Joe, to which Joe says, or to which Trump says, let's be nice, Biden, correcting the guy who says Sleepy Joe. He doesn't correct the guy who says monkey, because the guy doesn't say monkey. He corrects the guy who says Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe is, in fact, Biden. Otherwise, he would have said, let's be nice, Obama, or Barack Hussein Obama. He didn't hear monkey because monkey never happened. It was Spygate.
President Obama, and that included
Spygate. Sleepy Joe.
Let's be nice, Biden.
Okay, Biden.
This could only happen in.
Yeah, earlier he said Sleepy Joe. You guys remember that? We alluded to that earlier. Earlier he says Sleepy Joe when he's talking about who to vote for on the ballots, the live ballots that were sent out. Now we have live ballots. Now that's a thing. First it was hanging chads, now it's live ballots.
North Carolina.
And then it says only
But
North
that
Carolina.
included them, and they got caught. And then somebody said, well, what are you going to do? Well, we can't attack a president. Oh, I see. If it was me. They said, we can't attack a president. We caught him. We caught him cold. And they say, we can't attack. He was at meetings talking about it. And by the way, this was spying before and after. And I think it's a disgrace.
Before and after what? The election?
To our country. I think we can never let that happen again. But now they're doing something that in a certain way is more dangerous because it's more effective. They spied on my campaign. You know what they found? Nothing. But this is big stuff. This is stealing millions of votes.
There. Did you hear
it's
that?
going to be very hard. Now, we're in
is
courts
clear
all
as
over the
day.
country, and hopefully we have judges that are going to give it
That's going to change everybody's mind on who to vote for.
a fair call. Because if they give it a fair call, we're going to win this election. The only way they can take this election away from us is if this is a rigged election. We're going to win this election.
That's right.
We're going to win this election.
Did you stand on the corner with Allison in a green and blue and yellow gold dress?
So I'm
More
just saying we
beers.
cannot have these live, we call them live. Some people call them universal. I like the word live. These live mail-in ballots sent to everybody, including mostly people that never asked for them. Think of it. You're sitting there, you get a ballot.
You know, people who registered to vote but didn't ask to vote. Whoa, no. I registered to vote. No. We've registered at Target, but we're not getting married. We've registered.
Yeah, here's the bottom line. It was just given that in the polls, believe it or not, that because the polls try and treat us, that's why I respect Rasmussen, because they did well. A few of the others feel the same way, and they did well last time. Those are the ones that I look at, the ones that did well last time. And Rasmussen was very good. But if you look at it, every
if you read too much Rasmussen, you're going to catch that Super V.
single vote that they have, every single vote, it's going to be looked at. A man is sitting, or a woman is sitting, waiting for nothing, watching television, has no enthusiasm. Because on enthusiasm, the polls are saying that I'm up by massive numbers, not just a little.
Here's the thing. I've yet to, and I look at a lot of polls. If there's a poll, and they mean nothing, but I haven't seen or heard of any enthusiasm polls. I'm sure they're out there. They're just like, what the hell for? Enthusiasm? Yeah, Hillary won the popular vote. Her enthusiasm was lower. There was enthusiasm gap. And more Americans voted for Hillary Clinton.
Also way up on the economy, by the way, put it down. Way up. But I'm up by massive.
It is. It's only in the swing states, David, that it matters. None of this matters. None of us matter unless we're in a swing state.
And when I say I'm up, I'm talking about we're up. Okay, so if you could, please.
We love you.
But I'm up by massive numbers on enthusiasm. So Our voters are saying, I'm very angry about this. I'll go to the poll directly and vote. But their voters are saying, I don't care if Biden gets in. He doesn't have any enthusiasm. When you go to Ohio, when you go to Wisconsin, when you go to North Carolina, when you go to a lot of states, they have the Trump-Pence sign on every lawn. It's all over the place, right? It's all over. We don't see Indiana, too. Indiana's great. Bobby Knight. We love Bobby Knight, too, I'll tell you. We love Bobby Knight and Coach Holtz and...
There's one lady in there who just keeps screaming random things, and I can never understand what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure she's had 4 more beers.
All of them, they love us and we love them. Indiana's great, thank you. But here's the thing. So if they don't have any enthusiasm, so you'd say, are you going to vote? I'm not getting up to vote. Okay, I want to watch television instead of vote. All right. But here's a ballot. It just got to you. And he opens it. Oh, here's a ballot. What the hell am I going to do with this thing? And then they have somebody...
Nope, no idea. Registered to vote, no idea what to do with a ballot. What do I do?
Knocking on your door. That's right. And they're harvesting.
Uh-huh.
Hey, have you gotten your ballot? Yeah, I have my ballot. You going to sign it? Well, if you want, I'll sign it. That's here it is. Get out of here. That's the most honest way of doing it.
Okay.
And that's unfair.
But
that's unfair.
That sounds honest, though. Let's keep going. I hope. Let's see if this works.
Sign it. That's here it is. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Does such a great Indiana accent. Get out of here.
That's the most honest way of doing it. And that's unfair. That's unfair. Because now they're taking all of that.
But it's honest. Might be unfair. I mean, the Electoral College is unfair. We're going to talk about unfair. Hillary won the vote. The American people chose Hillary overwhelmingly, and you're the president. You want to talk about unfair? If it's illegal, then get back to us. But it's not. Those are the rules. You don't like the rules, don't play the game.
Enthusiasm that our party has. And we have tremendous enthusiasm. I think we have record enthusiasm. We have a base.
Okay.
We have a base the likes of which nobody's seen, including these people. Wall Street Journal did a fantastic story this weekend, a fantastic cover story this weekend on this base. Is an incredible base. Everybody here is going to vote. Everybody in our base. I mean, we have a tremendous base. They don't. They have no enthusiasm for their candidate. Because frankly, Bernie Sanders, they have much more enthusiasm for him. But Bernie Sanders, excuse me, again, he's the greatest loser I've ever seen. This guy can...
Bernie Sanders excused?
Lose and be so happy. Hillary Clinton, I want to use nice language, so I don't want to use a certain word. It starts with the word S, C. I don't want to use it because they'll say he used foul language while in North Carolina. But so I won't do that. But Bernie Sanders got taken advantage of. Is that okay? I want to use nice language, so I don't want to use a certain word. It starts with the word S, C. I don't want to use it because they'll say he used foul language while in North Carolina. But so I won't do.
There's some sheep in there. I mean, besides the people. Listen, I'm pretty sure there's a sheep in there.
Happy. Hillary Clinton, I want to use nice language, so I don't want to use a certain word. It starts with the word S.
Starts with the word S. The word S.
C. I don't want to use it because they'll say he used foul language while in North Carolina.
It's a goat.
But
specifically, starts with the word S. Then a C, scapegoat.
So I won't do that. But Bernie Sanders got taken advantage of. Is that okay? By Hillary Clinton. But worse, by the Democrats this time. Because of Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, got out of the campaign one day prior.
Muffled laughter. He said he's being racist. Monkey! I said fucking monkey! Why is there a question? Why would I said monkey! Obama's a monkey! Come on! We're Republicans!
Prior to the Super Tuesday vote, Bernie Sanders would have won every single state because...
That was a vignette. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? It's you. It's you. It's you.
Because Biden won by a little bit, and she didn't do well, but she took thousands and thousands of votes away in each state. If you add just a percentage of those votes back, that means that Bernie would have won easily the nomination. And I'm glad he didn't, because he had much more enthusiasm. Yeah. And he would have had a base, much smaller base than ours, but equally, I have to say this, equally as enthusiastic. This base doesn't like.
There is a guy near one of the mics who's just kind of like, yeah, right. Obama's a monkey. He was a monkey. Yep.
Joe Biden. They don't like Joe Biden. That's right. I think we're going to get a lot of votes. We did last time. People were surprised. Primarily because of trade, because I know how other countries take advantage of us, and I understand that. And that's something that Bernie Sanders people really feel, because I understand.
I think this guy's doing like a live stream in the room. I'm impressed.
And trade. I've done USMCA now. I got rid of NAFTA, the world's worst trade.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
China tariffs. I mean, China had the worst year they've had in 67 years prior.
Keeps getting higher. It's actually 27, but they still had 6.1% GDP.
To the plague. The worst year they've had in decades and decades. And we had the best year we've ever had.
No.
But we took in billions from China.
We didn't even hit 3% GDP. Last quarter was 2.1%. Pathetic.
China. We never took in 10 cents from China. Never took in 10 cents. They took China for 25 years, and not only Obama, for 25 years, China was taking in anywhere between 200 billion with a B and $550 billion from the United States.
Not true. We covered this yesterday. It never took in anywhere close to 500 billion, except under Trump. Only time they ever got above 400 billion under Trump. I mean, how can anyone look at any stats? Do we still have a Trump supporter in the room? If you're Trump's your supporter, if you're out there watching this and go, oh, I can't believe he's saying all these things, please come into the chat room. Whatever format you're on, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, whatever, let me know why you support this guy when he says that we have the greatest economy we ever had, and we have numbers that prove that he's lying. How can you support a man who keeps saying that China had a $500 billion with a T trade surplus with us, when no, that's never happened. That's not reality at all. The other day he said 600 billion with a T.
I give them all the.
Anyway, if you're out there, you're welcome in the chat room. Some of these guys might be mean to you. Guys, don't be mean to anybody. But I welcome, because I'm trying to understand how you can be lied to your face over and over and over again, and you don't at some point say, no, I'm not going to take this anymore. This is absolute crap. Is it that your parents lied to you? Did you never find out about Santa Claus? Oh crap. About Santa Claus being the most amazing magical human ever.
Credit. I give them all the credit. Number one, for being smart and outfoxing all of the people that stood here and their representatives. But China, we built China. We helped build. We gave them $500 billion a year. Because before that, and before the World Trade Organization and they getting into it, China was flatlined. It was after that happened. And then they took advantage of us because we didn't have people.
Not true at all.
That was smart enough to see. And by the way, Biden would be the worst of all of them, because his son took out $1.5 billion and he gets fees on $1.5 billion, which is millions of dollars a year. Give me a break. China will own our country.
I want to know who this couple is that's just having a conversation by a microphone somewhere. And where's that microphone? I don't know if you guys can hear it, but put in your headphones, because this far more interesting than Trump. Far more interesting than me, that's for sure.
Guy gets elected. We can't let it happen. We can't let it happen.
Right.
So we have a big one coming. And just to finish, enthusiasm.
like my boyfriend.
So they take the enthusiasm now out of the equation because they're going to go knock on everybody's door. Here, would you sign this? Yeah, I'll sign it. Nobody knows who the hell is signing it. And they now want to have it where the
So earlier, like 20 minutes before this, Pence is out there saying that they're going to get 2 million volunteers to knock on every door. They're going to have people knocking on every door, says Trump, complaining about that. He did not watch Pence's speech.
signature doesn't have to be verified. No, that's right. The signature doesn't have to be verified.
Not true. Not what state is he talking about?
Somebody's door. Here, would you sign this? Yeah, I'll sign it. Nobody knows who the hell is signing it. And they now want to have it where the signature doesn't have to be verified.
Completely untrue.
No, that's right. The signature doesn't have to be verified. And then they're going to play the game that we're not patriotic.
Okay, here's what happened. In Nevada, you send in the ballot that you've received, and it used to be a very strict law. And so a whole bunch, like if your signature was even a little bit different or it had a middle initial in it, Nevada said, oh my God, I said it like him. Nevada said, hey, you've got to have two people look at if there's a doubt on a signature, you have a second person look at it. And if the second person says, yeah, that's drastically different, then you contact the people. That's verification of signature. But apart from military, which they're exempt from the signature verification by federal law, everybody, every single signature that comes in from a mail-in ballot does get verified. Mine was. But that's his confusion is it's not going to be just one person now setting it aside. Two people have to look at it and say, yeah, that is kind of different. Because there have been cases, especially, it turns out, in cases with minorities, etc., where if there's a slight change to the signature, or there's no middle initial, or they don't cross the T the same way, or it's too swooping, whatever it is, they just get discarded, which shouldn't happen. So when Nevada redid the law to create the mail-in voting, that's what they did. And of course, when did the president... What? Never mind. What did the president know? When did he misunderstand it? Immediately. Always the answer.
Right.
Yeah. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election.
Right.
They're using COVID.
You're right. Exactly, she says. The Democrats are using COVID to steal an election. Also known as democracy.
To defraud the American people, all of our people.
How are they defrauding anybody?
Of a fair and free election.
Wait, what did she say? I'm much more interested in this.
Play the game that we're not patriotic.
Right.
Yeah.
What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election.
Right.
They're using COVID to defraud the American people, all of our people, of a fair and free election. And we can't do that.
I'm pretty sure she said fat lumpy socks, but I can't be sure.
And don't let them give you the post office stuff. The Postal Service, they do a great job. They lose a lot of money. I've said if they charged Amazon and these companies doing that a couple of dollars more a package, that Amazon...
They do not lose money on Amazon packages. There is actually a board independent of the post office that makes sure of that. But anyway.
Amazon has to pay, not the customer.
Right.
You know what would happen? Post office would start doing very well, thank you.
Yeah.
Amazon dumps all the packages.
So you want to charge the private business more and not have the private business pass that cost on to the consumer? That's a Republican, ladies and gentlemen. That's a Republican saying that. The corporation should take the hit.
We deliver it. We'll let the post office do it, lose a fortune. So if they charged Amazon, now of course he owns the Washington Post, so when I get bad stories in the Washington Post, I wonder why, right? I wonder why. But I just tell it like it is, right? I tell it like it is.
We love you.
We've accomplished more.
Pretty sure she said Gib. Pretty sure it was Gib. You can hear that for yourself. I'll make a waveform. Here she goes. She says Gib.
Now, of course, he owns the Washington Post, so when I get bad stories in the Washington Post, I wonder why, right? I wonder why. But I just tell it like it is, right? I tell it like it is. We've accomplished more.
Gib.
We've accomplished more during the first 3.5 years of this administration than any president in the history of our country. And I'm not even getting, pushback. I've been saying this for 2 years, for 3 years. I used to say for 2 years, for 3 years. But we've done more, let's say just about. This way they can't say, well, somebody won a war or something, right? No. We've accomplished more than just about any administration in the history of our country. We've secured our borders.
We've secured our borders by letting the virus run wild.
Our wall, which will be finished very shortly. We brought back manufacturing jobs. We've defeated the entire
Manufacturing jobs were down by 200,000 last year. FYI, we were in a manufacturing contraction.
Defeated the ISIS caliphate and killed al-Baghdadi. We also killed the greatest, biggest terrorist, maybe of them all.
Name that terrorist? You can't. Bin Laden is not the terrorist. But he killed the biggest, baddest terrorist of them all. Is he going to say Soleimani? No?
Soleimani, we killed Soleimani.
Soleimani was the biggest terrorist of them. Really? Wasn't Bin Laden? You know how you'd heard of Soleimani before he got killed, because he was the biggest, baddest terrorist of them all.
Right? And al-Baghdadi. We appointed 300 new judges. By the end of the first term, we will have appointed 300. It's an unheard of number. That's because President Obama was very nice, and
First he says we appointed 300. Then he says by the end we'll have appointed 300. They haven't appointed 300.
Gave me 142 openings. And historically, you get no open. When you become president, first question you say, how many judges? They'll say, none, sir. Because the other previous president, they want to, it's a very important thing, federal.
Bave, yeah, I always want to do that. I always want to take, and someone did it the other day. It might have been the recount. Coordinate all the things he repeats all the time. But you can do that with any politician. They have stump speeches. They're going to deliver it every single time. A lot of it's going to be read off a teleprompter, off a broken book, or whatever. And all those kinds of things, I go like, yeah, but then there's no time.
Judges. So I've appointed, we will have appointed 300, could be even more than that by the end of the first term. And I sat down, first day I said, how many judges do I get to appoint? They said, sir, 142. I said, 100?
It wasn't 142, it was 107.
Because you know what? He thought that Hillary was going to win.
No. Oh, I like the crowd here, though. That's why. No, it's because Mitch McConnell blocked all the judges, including a Supreme Court justice, for 11 months. That's why. Not because he thought Hillary was going to win.
It could be even more than that by the end of the first term. And I sat down, first day I said, how many judges do I get to appoint? They said, sir, 142. I said, 100, because you know what? He thought that Hillary was going to win. Right? And the Republicans did not make it easy, let's say, but if you have enough time, there's not.
No, the Republicans did not make it easy, because they would not allow a vote.
Not much anybody can do about it.
Wouldn't even have a meeting with the Supreme Court justice nominee. Would not even talk to Merrick Garland.
Ended up with 142 judges, and then we've added many, and we're going to end up with 302 great Supreme Court justices.
Okay, actually, Aaron Rupar took a look at this and said, he just said there are 302 Supreme Court justices. No, he says, and we're going to add 300, and 2 Supreme Court justices. So, no, it's, again, misconception. But Aaron Rupar did go back and listen to the monkey thing and agrees with me that the guy says Spygate, because the guy says Spygate. Let's go back and we'll listen to that.
But if you have enough time.
He talks weirdish.
There's not much anybody can do about it. We ended up with 142 judges, and then we've added many, and we're going to end up with 302 great Supreme Court justices.
See, he changes his tone there a little bit too. But yeah, he says 302 great Supreme Court justices. And does he even do the 2 there? I didn't even watch.
Right. And the Republicans did not make it easy, let's say, but if you have enough time, there's not much anybody can do about it. We ended up with 142 judges, and then we've added many, and we're going to end up with 302 great Supreme Court
Yeah, he even says, and two Supreme, yeah.
justices.
Anyway, the Lincoln Project tweeted out the monkey thing, as I understand it, and then retracted it because very quickly it became like, no, a lot of people like myself heard Spygate.
Remember this. I'm saying that I'm demanding, actually, a list. Let Biden put up a list of the judges he's going to appoint, that he'll take them out like I did.
And then release your taxes. That's a good deal. Biden can put up a list of Supreme Court justices, and you can release your taxes. In fact, you do it first.
25.
And he'll release his list of judges as soon as that audit is over.
And we're going to take it out of that list. We're going to be announcing a list over the next couple of weeks with the judges that we had, plus we might add a few more, so you know exactly where we stand. He can't do it because he would appoint, it's not him, he has no choice. The radical left will demand that he appoints super radical left, wild, crazy justices.
There's so many of those wild, crazy federal judges out there.
Going into the Supreme Court, your American dream will be dead if that happens. It'll be dead.
So positive, optimistic USA. That's what this convention's all about.
And the next...
Up with people. You meet them wherever you go. Up with people. They're the best.
And by the way, the next president... So I've had two. Some presidents have had none. You know, I have had two in a relatively short period of time. But I will tell you that the next one could have 2, 3, 4, and even 5. The next president. This is so important. This is so, whether you're talking about life, whether you're talking about Second Amendment, whether you're talking about military, this is so important. We have to do this. We have to win this election. But we brought back manufacturing. We rebuilt our military. We wiped out ISIS. I mean, think of it. When I came, ISIS was all over Iraq. The Prime Minister of Iraq was in last week, and he said, I want to thank you for defeating ISIS. I said, now, are you talking about me or the United States? You. Because when you came into office, it was a mess. They were all over Iraq and Syria, and you defeated them, sir. I said, good. Tell that to the media, please. Would you do that? And he said, I will, so let's see if he does. But we passed the biggest tax cuts and regulation cuts in the history of our country.
That is a lie.
We replaced the worst trade deal ever made, NAFTA, with a great USMCA deal that's going to keep our companies here, and it's going to be treating us very nicely. And I wouldn't say the other two countries were thrilled with it, but they were happy enough. And we did that, and that's another thing. They said, you'll never be able to replace NAFTA. You'll never be able to get it. And I got it. We got it through Congress. We fixed a lot of our broken and bad trade deals. We're getting $40 billion now from Japan. We fixed a horrible deal that was made with South Korea. Remember, I was a Hillary Clinton special. She said this will produce 250,000 jobs, and she was right.
She never said that. There was no trade deal with South Korea. He's just made that up in his head. Not a thing. And it was Obama who talked about that, but it was TPP. And yeah, Hillary had absolutely no. She was Secretary of State. Why would she have anything to do with a trade deal? It makes no sense.
Except, unfortunately, the jobs went to South Korea, not to us. Okay? She said it would produce 250,000 jobs, and it did, to South Korea. And we stood up to China like nobody's ever stood up between the tariffs and the trade deal, which now, don't forget, when I made that, the ink wasn't dry before the China virus poured into our country, right? The ink wasn't dry. So I view that differently than I would have viewed, because it's done very well. Last week, they had the largest order of corn, the largest order of soybeans. They're doing things, you know, they're very smart. A lot of people, because they see my attitude, a lot of people would say, we're not going to order. They do just the opposite. I got a call last week, sir. In fact, Sonny Perdue is here, the great Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture. He's here. There he is. Is that right, Sonny? I got a call. They ordered the largest. It was the largest order of corn in the history of our country. Twice. The largest order of corn, the largest order of soybeans. So here's how smart. Somebody else would say, running some country, you know, they'd say, well, we're not going to do business with him. He's not saying nice things about it. China's very smart. Instead, they order more corn than we've ever thought possible, right, Sonny? Order more soybeans than we ever thought possible. And now I have farmers calling me up, sir, we love China very much. Please don't be too tough on them, please. It makes it very difficult, Sonny, right? You know, we do too good a job sometimes. We've achieved American energy independence, and we're now #1 in the world by far. And I saw where these phonies, you know, they want to end everything we've done. They want to end it. They want to go to wind. They don't even know if they want to go to wind. I think they want to just basically close up our country because they're taking away our strength. But they want to do something. But there is no such thing. Solar can't do it. I love solar. It's all fine. You know, very, very heavily expensive, very expensive. But they want to go to other forms of alternative energy. And I think that's okay, except we don't have them. And it's not going to power these massive factories. So we need...
Lady screams, we need hydro! You know, renewable energy.
Hydro I love.
Oh, he loves hydro. So, yeah, rain power. God bless the resources.
It's one of my all-time favorites. Hydro.
Hydro, one of its all-time favorite forms of energy. Top 20, easy.
Hydro I love, I have to tell you. That's the great dams. You don't see that too much. You know why the environmentalists say you can't build a dam there? But now we can, because...
No, we don't see many dams.
Yes, we've done things...
Yes, we can! Is that Obama?
That nobody thought were possible. Like, example, the Keystone Pipeline. We got that approved.
Talking of hydro, Keystone Pipeline.
Dakota Access Pipeline.
Dakota Access, things written down in my non-broken book.
They were all bogged down, right? Right? I got it approved. We've got things that they said you couldn't get done. So we're energy independence, and they said we want to ban fracking. Right? No fracking. They want to. How do you think they'll do in Texas?
They haven't said they want to ban fracking. They just said they wanted to not have new fracking.
Oklahoma, Louisiana. North Dakota, Louisiana's going to.
Jeez, Louisiana.
Love it. There's no fracking. There's basically they want no fossil fuel whatsoever. Okay, no gas, no oil, no coal, no nothing. Okay, so they don't want anything. Now.
Well, they want to replace those with renewable American products.
Oh. They're getting killed because a poll just came out in Texas. Texas wasn't happy. They want no guns, they want no oil and gas, and they want no God. No God. So it's no religion, no.
So Joe the Catholic wants no God? What church do you belong to again? What was that, 2 collusions?
Guns, right? No oil and gas. I don't think you're going to do too good in Texas, you know. George Washington could come back from the dead, and he could choose as his VP candidate the late, great Abraham Lincoln. And you're not going to win the state of Texas if you have no oil, no guns, and no religion.
And your zombies. Also, that part would probably deter some people from voting for you.
I don't think so. You're not going to win too many places.
The guy says, ha 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 ha, nice work.
This is V.
Come on down to Chuckles in North Carolina. President Trump, 2 shows, Thursday and Tuesday.
VP candidate, the late, great Abraham Lincoln. And you're not going to win the state of Texas if you have no oil, no guns, and no religion. I don't think so.
Nice work.
You're not going to win too many places. We eliminated Obama.
By the way, most people cheering, they're not North Carolinians. These are the delegates from all over the country in that room. They've been there. They took the roll call. They voted for Trump to be the nominee. But these people are from all across the country. It just so happens that everyone who's yelling shit out has a southern drawl for some reason.
Obamacare's horrible and very unfair individual mandate, which basically knocked out Obamacare.
Imagine
we knocked out Obamacare. We've protected your Second Amendment, so important. We've protected your Second Amendment. We've cut drug prices, first time in 51 years. We got drug prices down. Now I'm really doing. I did a.
Went down 1%, not for consumers, 2 years ago, down 1%. Last year, up again. This year, again, up.
Favored nations clause, meaning we pay the same price as the lowest country that has the best deal. The companies are going crazy, the drug companies. They're taking ads on me. I said, oh, I went to Mark Meadows. I said, Mark, they're killing me. They're spending, they have nothing but cash, okay? Big Pharma, they call it, for a reason. There's nobody that gives the politicians more money than Big Pharma. Nobody, not even close. So I said, well, look, if you're not going to negotiate a fair deal, we're going to do a favored nations clause to the top people, the biggest guys. They said, no, don't do that, favored nations. No, favored nations, because, we have countries out there that are paying a tiny fraction of what our people are expected to pay. So if you have a country, Germany or others, they make, by the way, UK, all of Europe, Canada pays 50%, 50% less. In fact, people leave our country, go to Canada, pick up their drugs, and they come back home. Can you believe it? This is the kind of difference. So I said, no, I want a favored nations clause. I also want a rebate clause, a rebate where instead of the money going to the middleman, who have to be the richest people in the world, they get so much. They get more money, frankly, than the drug companies. At least the drug companies make a product. So I wiped out the rebate where now it goes to people, and I instituted what's called a favored...
I wiped out the rebate where now it goes to people. The rebate that he wiped out.
Nations clause. And it's very simple. You have that in deals. It's whatever the lowest price in the world. We're the biggest purchaser of prescription drugs by far in the world. So whatever the lowest price is that other countries pay. So if you have a country paying 10 cents for a pill and we're paying $2.50, and it's not such an exaggeration, believe me.
Hey, that's true. It's actually gone down. A couple of days ago, it was $3 a pill. It's gone down to $2.50 now, so it's working already. Trump 2020.
Then we get it for 10. So what happens is that doesn't work, so they'll go up a little bit, we'll come way, way down. So I said...
So screw you, Germany.
Favored nations, I want to pay what the lowest price is anywhere in the world. We're the biggest purchaser. We want a favored nations. They had a heart attack, and then I signed it. They didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. And now what they're doing is they have ads, millions and millions of dollars worth of ads, that I've been horrible to the people because of drugs, and I believe in socialism. Socialism. You know why? Because some of the socialistic countries get the lowest price. So the only thing I have with socialism is I want to get their price, okay? That's the only thing. Other than that...
So Trump is pro-socialism.
Other than that is, our country will never be a socialist country.
But I want the socialized medicine part of it. Our country will never be a socialist country except for the prescription drug prices, because it's way, way, way better than ours. But socialism is terrible. But I just want that one part. Just the huge part that affects every American's life. That's the part that I want. Hallelujah! Socialism!
So we cut drug prices, and you could get cuts. You could get cuts.
USA! USA! USA!
You could get cuts as much as...
We're not going to have socialist programs like Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security.
Is 50, 60, or 70%, maybe even more than that, on prescription drug prices. And wouldn't it be a kick, I'll use this, wouldn't it be a kick in the ass?
He said ass!
If I lost and Sleepy Joe is president, and this thing kicks in right about soon, right? In 30, 40 days.
Soon.
And people wake up after the election. Boy, Biden's done a great job. My drug prices just went down by 70%. What a great president he's been. He's great. And Sleepy Joe would say, I thought about that, but everybody knew about favored nations.
Ah, boy, that story just ended with a bang. And Sleepy Joe says, I thought about that. And then what did Sleepy Joe say? You know, the guy that you just called Biden because saying Sleepy Joe isn't being nice? That guy? 10 minutes ago where you said, "Oh no, let's be nice, Sleepy Joe."
But nobody had the guts to do it. And I'll tell you, I was called by many politicians, please don't do it, sir. Please. I said, why? They don't want to tell me why. I know why, because, you know, they're politicians and they've been helped out. And I guess we have to understand that too. But the fact is that we signed a favored nations clause and a rebate clause, and your numbers are going to come down 60, 70%. And I hope you remember that on November 3rd, because nobody but me would ever do it.
You just said it's going to happen next year. But yeah, we'll remember that on November 3rd. You said January, but yes, November 3rd.
The other thing I've done, aside from very strongly protecting your Second Amendment, which was not easy. That was not easy. And by the way, they will take your guns away.
Not a single bill reached his desk that he vetoed on the Second Amendment. Not one. In 4 years, not a single bill. And somehow he very strongly defended the Second Amendment.
As sure as you're standing or sitting there. That's right. They will take your guns away. Either
That's
that
right.
or obliterate the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms. You have the right to bear arms, especially when you look at a Portland and you see how weak those Democrats are.
Literally have to change the Constitution in order to do that. Literally have to get 2/3 of the states, 75% of the each state. Yeah, but totally. If you elect Biden, they're gonna figure out how to do that in all the Republican-controlled states.
Governor, the mayor, how pathetic. They let him riot every night. We're saying, let us come in and solve your problem. We will solve it for you in 1 hour, just like we did in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? 5 nights, 6 nights. They have to ask us in. Let us come in. We'll solve your problem. They're almost used to it. This is the way our whole country would be if you ever let a thing like this happen. Our whole country would be. So
that's the way our country is right now, though.
We protected your pre-existing conditions, very strongly protected pre-existing, and you don't hear that, but we've...
No, we don't hear that because you literally have a lawsuit against our pre-existing conditions in the court system right now. The fuck? Just it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's truth and there's falsehood, and then there's the stuff that Trump talks about it's really no relationship to either one. It's just whatever Trump wants to say. We protected your Second Amendment. Stronger than you don't hear about it, but we did it. We did it. We did it. First Amendment, Second Amendment. We did it. Strongly than anybody.
Very strongly protected your pre-existing condition.
If Biden gets in, he's going to chop off your feet. He's just going to do it. That's what the Democrats want. You're going to have a whole feetless nation. He said that. He wants to get rid of feet. He wants to be all kilometers, all metric. That's what Biden wants. No one's going to have any more feet. All gone. These people are going to be, they're not going to be 6 feet tall anymore. They're not going to be 6'7" like me. They're getting rid of feet. I'll be 2 meters. 2 meters, they say. I don't think so. We all get shorter because they're going to chop off our feet right at the ankles.
So we got rid of the horrible individual mandate, which cost everybody a fortune, and we strongly protected. Every Republican is sworn to protecting your pre-existing conditions. It's very important. You won't hear that. You won't hear that from the fake news. We passed right to try. We passed VA accountability and VA choice.
Obama did in 2014, but yeah, that deserves some applause.
We mobilized the largest response since the Second World War. We are doing an incredible job on the China virus, but I'm going to talk to you about that Thursday night. Will anybody be listening on Thursday night?
I guess.
And just very quickly, in the second term, among many other things, we'll continue with our military. We built the strongest military by far. It was depleted. Hello, nice Marine back there.
We had the strongest military by far. We've had the strongest military by far since the Second World War. But anyway,
It was depleted like you wouldn't believe. We have the best jets and rockets and equipment of any kind. Tanks made in Ohio.
Space Force.
Lima.
Oh, yeah, Space Force.
Tanks made in Ohio. So we're going to create 10 million jobs, I think very easily in the first 10 months. They want to raise your taxes. You know, all my life.
10 million jobs in the first 10 months. That is ambitious. Even with losing 30 million jobs, creating 10 million in the first 10 months after the recovery, which is apparently on a super V.
I've heard as a politician, you like to lower taxes, right? This is the only election where somebody said we're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes, quadruple your taxes. They're going to add on to the regulations so that all of these projects that we got started that are great projects, they won't be able to get built. So they're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your regulations, make it impossible to build a highway. It used to take 17 years, 18 years, 20 years, 21 years, long time in some cases, to get approval to build a highway, right? We have it down to 2 years now. We're going to have it down to 1. And it may get rejected for environmental or safety reasons, but we're going to know it very quickly. We're not going to take 17 years. We could name highways. They took forever. End up costing 100 times more, and they're not as good. Some of them go in circles, I mean, to get to a point.
That's a circle.
They want to miss a certain nest. So let's spend 37 million to miss. Look, we've got to be smart. We've got to be smart. We've got to win an election. Also, we're going to create tax credits for companies that bring our jobs back from China and other countries and impose tariffs on countries that take advantage of the United States. And they've been taking advantage of us for years and years, and I've already done it in certain cases. We have countries that tariff us and we don't tariff them. So they tariff us. It's very simple. It's called reciprocal. They tariff us, we tariff them.
That sounds terrific.
Right. Thank you. Right. We are going to fully fund law enforcement and hire more police. We're going to go with school choice, and we've made a lot of progress on school choice for every student in America. We're going to continue to expand opportunity zones. There has been nothing better. Don't forget, it was us.
The whole school choice thing for every student in America, that wonderful ideal. The trouble is the vast majority of students in America don't have a school choice. If you're one of Trump's supporters and you live in a rural area, where is that private school that you're going to send your kid to? Public schools are your only choice. You're already traveling like 10 miles each direction on a school bus, if provided, in the middle of Oklahoma or South Dakota or wherever you are. Where is that school choice? Where's that other school going to be?
Us together that got criminal justice reform done. The greatest thing for the black community, African American community. They came and they said, we can't believe it. Obama didn't even try. And not only that, I got funded the historically black colleges and universities. I got them funded. They weren't funded.
They were funded.
They were year to year. They didn't know if they were going to be around.
The amount was to be determined every year. And every year it was increased based on a formula. It was started in 2010. It was a 10-year law with a sunset, as most laws are. Thomas Jefferson, by the way, thought that all laws should expire after 9 years. It's a great idea. That way, no generation can decide the well-being or situation of a future generation. So Thomas Jefferson said, law, 9 years, has to be renewed. Which is a pretty good idea, but can you imagine fighting over the same law every 9 years? Anyway, that was Jefferson's idea. He had slaves, raped them.
For another year, and they'd come into the White House, and after 3 years, I said, why do you guys keep coming back? Well, it's a year-to-year deal. I said, that's not fair. So you have to come back every year. And we got them long-term financing and long-term funding. Nobody's done more for the historically black colleges and universities than Donald Trump. Nobody. Nobody's done.
Not that black guy, Obama, who created the law in the first place.
more for the African American community. No president has done as much as anybody since and I say it, since Abraham Lincoln. It's true. It's true. Criminal justice reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott of South Carolina. He's a great senator. He's a great gentleman. Tim Scott is fantastic. Opportunity zones. But think of it, criminal justice reform, opportunity zones, the colleges and universities. What we've done has been amazing. But the most important thing is, prior to the virus, the greatest job numbers in the history of the African American community, the Hispanic community, and the Asian, as I said.
African American job unemployment rate was still double that of the white community. That's really that's why we keep track of those statistics, to look at the unfairness in the job market itself and why the African American rate is double that of the white rate and how we can make it more even. But anyway, he just brags about the fact that unemployment rate amongst blacks was somewhere around 5%, almost 6%, I think. I'd have to look it up. Opportunity zone is where companies are giving tax breaks to move into low-income neighborhoods and employ minorities at low wages so that Jared Kushner can make millions. So Jared gets an opportunity to make millions and tax breaks.
So I just want to thank everybody. We're going to get rid of our sanctuary cities as soon as we can so that they don't protect. We put NASA back in action. NASA had grass growing through its runways. It had grass growing through the cracks of its runways.
Yeah, no, not true. I mean, yeah, there were grass going through, but the grass grows through all tracks. It doesn't mean that NASA was shut down. Hey, look what I found. This is kind of cool. So here is the percentage of children with access to charter schools. And it's a little bit out of the way here. Let me see. I can't. Anyway, call out of state. I'll tell you. So Washington, no kids with access to charter schools. Montana, no charter law. South Dakota, all these rural states, no kids with access. Missouri, 1.7% kids had access to charter schools. Kansas, 0%. They have a charter law, but they have 0% of children with access to Utah, 3.4%. That's impressive. Wyoming, 0%. Oregon, 0%. Colorado, 30%. Not bad, Colorado. Here's a dark state. Arizona, 65% of the kids in Arizona have access to charter schools. So this whole school choice thing over here, Virginia, 0%. There we go. South Carolina, 3.2. What's that? Georgia, Alabama, no charter law. Tennessee, no charter law. Kentucky, no charter. Indiana, no charter law. Wisconsin, 12.3. That's pretty good. New York, 0.6%. New York, with New York City with a population of almost 20 million in the area, 0.6% of kids have access to charter schools. What's up there? Vermont, no charter law. Missouri, we did. Kansas. Oklahoma, 0%. So yeah, school choice for everybody. Despite complete lack of access. California, 13%. That's pretty good, California. Nevada, 6.8%. Idaho, 12.1%. That's actually the population center in Idaho. They're pretty consolidated, so that makes sense in Idaho. But yeah, there's I found that charter schools, but school choice.
It was closed, essentially just a disaster. Now it's the number one.
Florida, too late. I closed it. Florida was down underneath my line of sight, so that's on you, Florida.
One space center anywhere in the world by far. You saw the ships going up. And for some reason, a lot of rich people like rockets going up. And so we say, let's lease them our beautiful launching areas and let them send all the rockets. Let them pay for it.
Under Obama.
But we'll be landing on Mars. We're going to the moon. We're going to Mars. We'll be the first on Mars. Let's see if that happens. We have to do it. If we're here, it's going to happen. If somebody else is here, probably not. But I just want to again thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're incredible warriors. You have incredible strength. You have unbelievable intelligence and patience. It's a combination of both. I don't know which is greater, the intelligence or the patience, but let's assume it's the intelligence, okay? But I have to tell you, I think we have the greatest.
What does the guy say? I got to hear what the guy says.
intelligence and patience. It's a combination of both. I don't know which is greater, the intelligence or the patience, but let's assume it's the intelligence, okay? But I have to tell you, I think we have the greatest base of support anywhere, at any time, any election, and people are starting to find that out. They found it out in 2016, and I will be honest, this election, I believe we have far greater enthusiasm in this election.
That's right.
And we had a level that was a record because they still.
Am I going nuts? But did he just go through this like 20 minutes ago, which is like 3 hours our time? But did he not? Did we not talk about the enthusiasm? Yeah, because I said I've never seen a poll on enthusiasm. He just went through this. He's losing it, kids.
Don't believe what happened. They said, where are all these people coming from, right?
We love you.
People that were great Americans that never voted, but they were great because they didn't like who they were watching or looking. People were great.
They didn't like who they were looking. What could mean?
They didn't vote. I'll never forget a congressman from Tennessee came up. They do very early voting. Tennessee, a great state. And they had just started voting, and I was in Pennsylvania making a speech, and he said, sir, I don't know.
This is going to be the mountains and rivers. They came from the mountains and rivers.
I can't speak for anybody, but I'm from Tennessee, and I've been doing this for a long time. He said, I've never seen anything like it. People are coming from the valleys and the hilltops, and they're coming from the cities. They're coming from all over. I never said they're coming out of the rivers. They're coming along those beautiful war fields that we have. They're coming
along those beautiful war fields they're coming from the cities. But mostly the beautiful war fields. Does anybody know what he's saying?
Like it. People are coming from the valleys and the hilltops, and they're coming from the cities. They're coming from all over. I never said they're coming out of the rivers. They're coming along those beautiful war fields that we have. They're coming from everywhere, sir. I've never seen anything.
Do they have a lot of war fields in Tennessee? Is that something with which I am unfamiliar? Is that... What? Does anybody know? Is that a thing? Somebody Google war fields.
Like it. But if other states are like Tennessee, you're going to win this election. He was the first one to say it. He was the first one. They came from the mountains. They came from everywhere. He said, I've never seen anything like it. And people that be having trumpets and the hats, these are people that never were political people. They never wore a pin in their life having to do with politics. It's been an incredible experience for me. It's been an incredible experience, I think, for everyone. And I'll tell you what, next year is going to be it's going to be a great, great year. It's going to be a year of tremendous success. We're fighting off this horrible thing that was delivered by China. And it was by China, and we're never going to forget it, and I let them know. We're never going to forget what they did. Because you know what? We're going to do great economic...
Okay. The Fox feed is still going.
We're going to do better economically than we did last year. But we can never forget the 175,000 people, which will go up. Remember this, though. We saved millions.
Maybe battlefields? Does Tennessee have a lot of battlefields? Knoxville? I don't know my Civil War history, or as we called it in the rest of the world, the Second American Revolution. Wow.
Because if we didn't move, and if I didn't put the ban on heavily infected people coming to our nation from China.
We didn't have a test, so we didn't know. By the way, it was only a ban on people coming out of Wuhan. There were 11 subclauses or loopholes in the presidential proclamation, and it didn't include American citizens. In fact, it only included foreign nationals. And it didn't include people from Hong Kong, and it didn't include people from Macau.
That everybody told me not to do.
Nobody told him not to do it. The doctors came to him. Dr. Fauci is on record saying that we came to him and told him to do the travel pause on China and on Europe and on the UK. I probably have that open if anybody wants to see it. Yeah, I can pull that up pretty quickly. Where is it? Okay. Fauci on the travel ban. Yeah, this is Fauci on the travel ban. This is such nuts. It's okay to say, yes, I put in the travel ban. It's not a travel ban, but okay, that kind of works because he did sign the proclamation. It was his decision ultimately to make. But him saying that everyone told me that I shouldn't do it.
You do. Is that the travel restrictions?
No, the travel restriction is separate. That was whether or not we wanted to go into a mitigation stage of 15 days of mitigation. The travel was another recommendation when we went in and said we probably should be doing that, and the answer was yes. And then another time was we should do it with Europe.
When we went in and said you probably should be doing that, and the answer was yes. We went in to the president and said you probably should be doing that.
Yes. And the next time we should do it with the UK, and the answer was yes.
In this interview, you said that.
So they recommended it each time, and the president said yes. But they were in the past. President has said that Dr. Birx, or Dr. Scarf as we know her, said no, that's a terrible idea. She wasn't even around till March.
Months later, they were saying we shouldn't, and then they all either apologized or admitted it was right. And Europe, I did Europe too, very early. If we didn't do that, our numbers would be at a level like...
The virus, the European version of the virus was already here well in advance of the European ban. And remember, the European ban didn't include UK for a few days for some reason.
You wouldn't believe. So
I don't believe.
I just want to thank everybody for this incredible support. Be very, very careful. This is going to be, and I really believe this is the most
Is this about election fraud again? Are we being careful about election fraud?
Important election in the history of our country.
Yeah, it is. Why are we being careful?
Don't let them take it away from you. Don't let them take it away. North Carolina, we love you. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much. Very special people. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
YMCA. Young man, you can go wash yourself away. Young man, you can all go to hell. You can go there, and you get some free food, and everyone can be so rude. Young man, YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Be careful about election fraud and don't worry so much about staying alive. Okay, what else did I want to share with you? Oh, you know what, kids? We got this other thing here. Let me find the C-SPANs. Hold on, because we were watching this thing and it only lasted for a couple of minutes. Let me see if I can dig up where it went. We'll just do it over here. Hold on. Let's pull up the C-SPANs over here. C-SPANs. You can C-SPAN. When you're really, really bored, you can go there. And you can watch the president. And where'd he go? It's Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Okay, Family's Food Box Program. Here we go. No volume.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
can change that
to
right
introduce
now.
The President of the United States. Please welcome.
Turn it
co-owner
up then.
Of Flavor First Growers and Packers.
I just
Kirby
can't
Johnson.
figure out how. And my mouse is gone. Come on. Oh, it's back. Hi. How are you? I've missed you. Let's go to where the president says stuff. Come on. What is it doing?
This is the greatest industrial mobilization. All of the things that we've done.
Stop it.
To take on this horrible, horrible.
My mouse won't go to where it's supposed to go.
State of North Carolina. And you know, Joe Biden was supposed to be in.
Okay, I don't know what is happening with my mouse. We're not even gonna bother with that. So screw it. It's not worth it. I don't know if he says anything, but yeah, we're done with Trump for today. Except that the RNC is coming up later. So I'm gonna get myself. Holy crap! It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon already. So yeah, RNC starting later tonight. Let's find out when. That we can actually. We can use the Google for that. Let's just do RNC. Oh, you know what? C-SPAN actually had... had a decent page on that weekend. C-SPAN. And we look at it now. So if we click on that, it might give us some kind of schedule. Day 1, 9 p.m. Eastern. To be determined. All of these people to be determined. So it doesn't really give us a timeline. So let's go to the networks, because they'll actually give us some kind of timeline. Let's go to live and let's look at the schedule. How do I go forward? Here we go. Okay, so 5:30 on CNN. No, that's a lie. Let's go back a step. You guys can't see what I'm seeing. 7 p.m. I think it starts at 7 p.m. The trouble is the news, like MSNBC, is going to start at 6 o'clock. But I think it actually gets going here at 7 p.m. So maybe 7 p.m. tonight. Gossip, please. Yeah, Kellyanne's done at the end of the month, which is interesting because yesterday her husband, George... Wait, why is that doing that in the background? Wrong side. Interesting. All right, I got to use some clamps, people. Nothing to see here. Kellyanne is leaving, and her husband yesterday was tweeting something saying that everybody who works at the administration, and I mean everyone, is what he wrote in there, has to be ashamed or something along those lines. So he was very specifically saying, including my wife. And then later that same day, Kellyanne says, I don't know if George finally reached his limit and he put his foot down. I don't know. But in fact, let's find that tweet while we're here. We can do that. Twitter's... oh, for God's sake. Okay, hold on. We got to do this on the Chromes. I got Crohn's disease somewhere. Hold on. Nope, that's not... Let me pull it up. Here, I'll pull over Elton John Tiny Dancer, and we'll go to search, and we'll go and mean everyone. Go down to, let's see, it was George... No? What's his Twitter handle? Conway. Come on, what's Conway's Twitter handle, anybody? George, G-E-O-R... Oh, there he is. GT Conway. There we go. And so what we have to do then is go back to search, GT Conway, mean everyone. Speaking of everyone, you guys can check out any moment now. GT Conway. Must be so frustrating to watch me type. Okay, get rid of mean. No results. I must have gotten his name wrong. I must have gotten his handle. Oh, GT Conway 3D. Hold on. Jeez. Oh, happily. One more. Mean everyone. This isn't really worth it. The wait. I mean, guys, sorry about this. Let me go down here. GT Conway. I know you guys are at home are like, GT Conway 3D, Kevin. It was GT. What is wrong with you? Okay. Here it is right here. To everyone who works in the White House, and I mean everyone, do you not feel a tinge of shame and absurd responses like this? What is it that you are all afraid of? And it was a response to what Mark Meadows, the chief of staff, said on Fox News Sunday. Chris Wallace says, you can end this controversy right now. Does the president disavow? Does he condemn QAnon? And Mark Meadows says, well, listen, we don't even know what it is. Is George taking a Twitter hiatus? Because yesterday he was full bore. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the compromise. Let's see what George said today. Let's go to George. I may be taking a Twitter hiatus soon. If I do, I'd like to leave all of you with a few thoughts. Oh, okay. So that was his pinned tweet from yesterday, and he went down a long list. So that was probably the compromise. So Kelly, well, I don't know. I wish George nothing but the best. I really hope that I've been right all along, and that Kellyanne has been a mole, and they're just working on a book. And by the end of the month, things are going to turn around, and then Kellyanne's going to be telling all of Donald Trump's secrets. Well, they're not secrets, but she will be reaffirming, and then she'll be overrated and a disgruntled employee and all this other stuff. And he's taking a hiatus from Lincoln Project. I hadn't heard about that. Trump may be taking a White House hiatus in January. Yeah. He did leave the Lincoln Project, Rich. Wow. So yeah, that might be it. Maybe they just decided politics is poisoning our home. We're done with it. The same way that Jennifer and I we don't talk politics. Jennifer Aniston. Many of you have been wondering where I am. I moved in with Jennifer Aniston because we both live in the Los Angeles area, both single people. So at some point we figured we're going to have to date, or I figured I'm going to have to date Jennifer Aniston. That's just the way it works in Los Angeles. Every single male over the age of 50, or almost 50 in my case, has to date Jennifer Aniston. So we figured let's get it out of the way during the pandemic. We can keep each other company, I guess. She can complain about her dry eye over and over, and God damn the dry eye. I really thought things were going to work out, quite frankly, but I cannot take the dry eye. Pretty much stole that from Ellen, by the way. That is true. Okay, everybody. It's not true. The dry eye is not a turnoff for me. I think things are going to work out between us. Yeah, are you single, Rich? Are you going to be single in 2 years? Whatever it is. Yes, if you live in LA and you're single and you're of a certain age, you get to date Jennifer Aniston. I am only kidding, though. I think Jennifer Aniston is lovely. I have absolutely no problem. She's super talented, and she's adorable, and she's gorgeous, and she's smart, and she's funny. She's got all the tools. I just wish she wouldn't do the laundry right outside the studio room. Anyway, I appreciate her. I appreciate everything about her. And if she brought in a sandwich, I'd appreciate her even more. She's a little bit of a codependent, so I'm having the time of my life. Okay, kids. In all seriousness, be good to each other. I'll probably be on later for the DNC. DNC. I'm down with DNC. Yeah, you know me. I'll be on later for the RNC when my voice comes back. I did a lot of shouting there during the Trump thing we just watched. Monkey! Yeah, Green Room, you go to bed because it's going to be well past your bedtime. So 7 o'clock Pacific. I don't know what that is Eastern, 10-ish. No idea what that is in Hawaii. My voice is all done, guys. Here's some credits that I still haven't updated because I'm bad. Here's the thing. I may or may not be picking... Kevin Lee Daughter is on set today. And as always, we have no idea what time she's going to be finished. So come 6:45, I may have to go pick her up at the studio. Not Jennifer's studio that I'm in right now, but I wish I could tell you guys stuff about what she's doing, but I can't. Because the people running that show are totally going to be watching this broadcast. And they're going to be like, wait a second, we got to figure out who Kevin Lee Daughter is. You guys be good. Here, I'm going to put on the closing credits, and you can keep chatting during the closing credits. Say goodbye to each other. Good night, John Boy.
Kevin, is this helpful to Joe Biden?
Wait, what?